Sunday, March 21st, 2021, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Uh, nice to have everyone here. Hopefully you can hear me. So the title of the live stream is the Perth Mint defaulting uh, on the little guy? Are they defaulting on their silver liabilities? And why the little guys? Well, because what I think is happening, there's a shortage of physical silver, and they're putting the little guy at the back of the queue. Uh, if something doesn't have a shortage, there is no queue, right, or a line. And I think that's what's happening. That's what I'm going to talk about today. They haven't defaulted, but it's almost as good as. And I'm going to have also Tuesday night, I'm going to be talking to John Adams from Adams Economics. He's down in Australia. I spoke to him today about this, and yeah, he's a lot more informed about it because he's in Australia. He's part of As Good as Gold, As Good as Gold Australia. They're a bullion dealer, and if you are in Australia, I would look them up. They can deliver you physical silver. I'm going to go over that today as well. The difference between physical silver, allocated silver, pool allocated, and unallocated to make it simple for people. So let's have a look at some questions here. Yes, Billy is here. I had to go pick him up upstairs because he'd gone to bed already. He'd gone up with my wife. So let's see. There's a lot of people here already, I think. How many have we got? 200 people. Hopefully we'll get more. I am a little early, so just go through the messages here and wait until everyone shows up because I am a little earlier. So Joshua Porter, my favorite time of the week. Thank you. Jen West, I cannot believe that they're defaulting bunch of criminals. Hello from Texas. Silver Stacker. Yeah, we're going to look at some comments they made, the Perth Mint. And the Perth Mint used to be privately owned until the late 60s. And guess who owned the Perth Mint up until, I think, 68? Well, it was the Rothschilds. But now it's owned by the government of Western Australia. It's one of the 6 states, I think, in Australia, or maybe 7, if I could be mistaken. But yes, it's state-owned. Let's see. Marek, Kalenda, cryptocurrency, good money. Papers, currency, bad money, being replaced the future. Who else? Elias Jones. I listened to a podcast of what happened to the states after the collapse of the USSR and how some remained in the ruble zone. That's right. New Mexico checking this afternoon. Privates here. Grant Harding, early start for me in Perth. So that's where the Perth Mint is in Australia. Perth, Western Australia. Brian Peterson, he's in Canada. So yeah, loads of people around. So we got a couple of minutes. Graham Hobbs, hi Graham Hobbs. Graham Hobbs is in the UK. I've met him a couple of times. Really nice guy. Yeah, Monaco 64 community. Thomas Adams, he likes Pokemon. Jillian B from Perthshire or Perthshire. Mark AF from Citrus County, Florida. That's Central Florida. Lily Robin, hard times are coming for all. Hopefully silver and gold will cushion the fall. Yeah, I think holding gold and silver is more than just making a profit. In the normal world, maybe 15 years ago, yes, you could take your profit and go back to fiat. But I think this time it's going to protect you, I think, gold and silver. And that's why I think people need to think of it more like that than just a trade. Even though I'm not telling people they shouldn't trade, that if they want to trade, that's up to them. They could even trade ETFs for all I care, or the stock market. But if you want to own gold and silver physically, there's only one way, and that's physically. Yes, that there's the PSLV, but you have to have a certain amount. You couldn't buy 10 ounces of PSLV and demand delivery. So we're going to start now then. So yes, I heard, I think it was yesterday, I made a video yesterday, and one of the comments was about the Perth Mint, that they're defaulting. Technically, I guess they could say they're not defaulting. There's just a shortage. And what they're doing is they're not allowing people who have bought unallocated silver to convert it to allocated. Thank you, El Purno. They're not allowing them to convert it to allocated so that they can get the physical. So they're basically telling the little guy that they got to go to the back of the queue and wait. It could be weeks or months. You don't really know. And these people, when they buy unallocated, they've paid for it. And they're paying the storage as well. I think in unallocated, they pay storage as well. So I wanted to go over, before I go further into the Perth Mint story, and show you a 50-ounce silver bar, right? So there you go. That's an Engelhard. I think it's Australian Engelhard as well. It's a 50-ounce bar. So let's say I decided to sell an ounce to 50 of you viewers, and I'd say, I'd sell you an ounce for 30 pounds, or let's say $35. And the first people to bid, or to say, yeah, I want to buy 1 ounce, the first 50, for example, I would say, fine, it's sold. Send me $35 on PayPal, and you're each gonna own a fraction of this bar, right? So that's allocated. So you're gonna own a fraction of this bar. It's allocated. I'm gonna receive the money from you on PayPal, right? So, and that's pool allocated, right? But if I decided to sell 1 silver bar just for the highest bidder here on the live stream, and keep it for him or her stored, it's allocated, but is not pool allocated. And so that's what allocated is. That's what pool allocated is. Pool allocated basically is when you divide it into fractions and you sell it and you don't deliver it to the buyers, right? You keep it in the vault, the Monaco 64 bank or mint, whatever you want to call it. So what the Perth Mint does as well is they sell unallocated. So what's unallocated? Well, unallocated is when, let's say I'm JP Morgan Bank, right? And I get a call on my phone, and I say, yes, hello, this is Pierpont. And the person on the other side is, I don't know, a wealthy individual, says, I want to buy a 50-ounce bar from JP Morgan, allocated. JP Morgan says, yes, or unallocated, sorry. And JP Morgan says, okay, we'll keep it in our vaults. And then they get another 10, 20 calls, and they sell the same bar. So they sell it many times over, and it's unallocated. So they've basically done a fractional reserve deal. And the only problem with that fractional reserve is that when things get hairy in the markets and in the system, JP Morgan might have the danger that the 50 or 100 clients that bought the same bar might want delivery. So what do they need to do? Well, they'll need to go into the market to buy the real physical. And that's what the manipulation is all about. So what I think is happening now is that the Perth Mint They've sold these unallocated bars many times over, and that's why they're putting the small guy in the queue behind the big banks, because they want to satisfy the big banks first, because the big banks have done the same thing that the Perth Mint has done. They've sold silver unallocated many times over. And Thomas Adams, thank you for the super chat. Do you like Pokemon? Well, my daughter, when she was younger, was into Pokemon. That's why I know about Pokemon. But I'm not really too bothered about Pokemon. I thought it was quite funny, Pokemon. So that's hopefully you guys understood the difference between there. So there's allocated. So let's say Bugsy 2379. Thank you for the super chat. It's been a long time, Mary. Besides gold and silver, I started stacking platinum last year. Thoughts on platinum? Thanks, Bugsy from New York. Yeah, platinum is looking good as well. I think platinum will do well too, alongside gold and silver. So let's say Bugsy said, oh, Mario, I want to buy this silver bar from you allocated. So, okay, I'll sell it to him. Let's say $30 an ounce. That's $1,500. He'll send me the payment through PayPal, but I'll keep this bar, right? And I could have other 50-ounce bars as well. So if he calls me a month later and says, Mario, I want delivery of that bar, I'll send it to him, right? But what the banks do, and I know this as well, because back in around 2003 or 4, I worked, I didn't work, but my one of my family members had an account with one of these big bullion banks, and I helped this person get some gold. And I thought it was gold. It was in the account. It wasn't delivered. But at one point, we decided to take delivery, and they told me it was FX gold. What they meant was that it was unallocated, and they wouldn't deliver. So what we did, we just sold the position and bought physical from a dealer. So that's what happens. So I'll show you here. Let's share this. So this is what I saw yesterday. So you guys can see this. So here we go. Tanjos at Strategic Tanjos says Perth Mint are in strife. They're trying to prop up the corrupt paper pricing scam while screwing over retail consumers. Asked if I wanted to go on a waiting list to convert. I think he meant convert here. Being pool allocated customer. Wow. So actually, he wasn't even unallocated. He had supposedly fractions of a bar, and they told him they had to wait, and that they couldn't even convert 750 ounces into allocated bars. So there you go. What's happening at the Perth Mint is that someone, let's say you guys bought an ounce of this, and let's say you came to me a week later, let's say SW, who's saying thumbs up, came to me and said, Mario, I want an ounce now. And I told him, no, you're going to have to get to the back of the queue. I mean, that's outrageous. That means they don't even have, I would say, the allocated, which they should have. I think that's pretty despicable. That's what it looks like. Orthodoxus Carriers, thank you for your super chat. So John Adams, who I'm going to interview Tuesday night, it's going to be Wednesday morning in Sydney. He says, in the past 24 hours, and this was yesterday, in the past 24 hours, I have been told horror story after horror story from Perth Mint clients. Clients with synthetic positions are standing for delivery, i.e. converting to allocated, and they have been told there is no silver. I think the Perth Mint is not saying that, but we can assume they don't have the silver, because if they did, they wouldn't be put in a line or queue and make them wait weeks or months. So that's the first tweet here. So now I'm going to give the Perth Mint the benefit of the doubt. So let's bring their statement, Perth Mint. So this is what they're saying here, the Perth Mint. So this is from Alternative Dog, at Alternative Dog. She's hashtag Silver Squeeze. Perth Mint. They say it's a fabrication issue. Okay. They say social media chatter about a shortage of silver should be treated with a healthy dose of skepticism. While the Perth Mint is currency experiencing increased demand for its products and services, customers can still invest in leading Australian silver bullion coins and in pool allocated and unallocated silver via depository. This is quite outrageous, I would say. So they're actually telling clients that it's still okay to put their money in pool allocated, which is, you know, fractions of a bar, or unallocated, which is basically air. While we're hearing stories from real people that they're not being allowed to convert from pool allocated and unallocated into allocated. And even when people have allocated silver, they're making them wait weeks or months. So yes, and if there's such a shortage and so much demand, how come the price is not going up as well, right? Let's have a look here. Some of the comments to that tweet. This is the one I thought was interesting here. Where is it? Bob Hunter, thank you for your super chat. Love to all people of kindness and peace. Yeah, that's it, really important. Truth, honesty, and love and peace and kindness, I guess. Let's see. Alan Manji, he says, still confirmation that the market is fixed, though. In the free market, a production fabrication issue would decrease supply, which would drive prices up. And the simultaneous increase in demand would leave prices way up. Instead, they say, sorry, we're out. Can't turn paper contracts into real silver. Alchemists should be fired. Yeah, I really think, I've been in gold and silver for almost 20 years now. I've known since the beginning, maybe a few months after I got involved in '02, that there is manipulation. And I learned the hard way as well with the bank that I told you about that said it was FX gold, so they couldn't deliver. I've known that, that's what the bankers do. They apply the fractional reserve banking to the precious metals to keep the price down. So let's have a look here. Jacinta, if that were true, how do you explain mints all over the world suddenly all experiencing the same phenomena? They've suddenly run into fabrication issues? I think not. If it ain't in your hand, you don't own it. You only own a piece of paper that says so. Yeah. So yeah, I think the Royal Mint in the UK, they have a service. Dmitry Shmerkovich, thank you for the super chat. Implications for PSLV, SLV, and comex. Well, I think they're not good. It just goes to show there's a shortage, and it's really hard to get the silver. What I think these big mints are doing, because they really are not there to serve the public. I would say in extremes, in an extreme situation, they would always protect the big banks, the central banks, and that's what they're doing, in my opinion. So it shows, because the mints are like holding back for small investors. It shows that there's a problem with the big banks, in my opinion. So Pete Devine says, I got ripped off in a Ponzi scheme over a decade ago. Right up to the end, I received statements and letters telling me my investment was safe. So there you go. Perth Mint. Kevin Walker says, it's a fibbing issue. I agree with him. So I just wanted to say, though, yes, I was talking to John Adams today on WhatsApp. He was in Australia. I was here. And he said, because he made a video, I've been following him for a few years, and he made a video with Martin North about the Australian gold that is held in at the Bank of England. And they eventually found out that because they're trying to bring that gold back home to Australia, but the Reserve Bank doesn't seem to care to have its gold with the Bank of England. Thank you, Bob Hunter, again for your super chat. So what they found out, I think it was in 2019, is that the Bank of England actually leased 11 tons of RBA, Reserve Bank of Australia gold, to the Perth Mint. So, but at the same time, the statement that the Perth Mint, or I think it was the RBA, said that they leased the 11 tons, but the metal doesn't move. So it's a book entry, right? So why would the Perth Mint borrow gold from the RBA at the Bank of England and not want the gold if they're going to sell it to people? Well, it's because what they do is they keep it in an unallocated account. They push small investors to buy unallocated because they don't want you to go out there and buy physical. And that's why I've been telling people for over 5 years now since I've had this channel. And I used to tell my friends and colleagues and other people that I knew that if they really wanted to really bring down the bankers, you have to buy physical gold and physical silver. And I don't think we should wait for some, knight in shining armor, like a big investor to come and clean out the comex. Because that's not how it's going to happen. The comex actually doesn't keep that much silver. They don't really have that much silver. What we need to do is for each of us to try to buy as much silver as possible, be it 3 or 300 ounces a month, whatever you can, as long as you don't borrow. You shouldn't borrow to do any of this, because if you borrow, you go back into the system. Andy Hughes, how does it feel to have more physical gold than an entire country central bank like Canada? Well, yeah, it's not very hard for anyone to have more physical gold than the Bank of Canada, right? I mean, even if I didn't have any other gold, this is my wedding ring. That's gold. It looks white because it's white gold. But yeah, anyone who's married and has a wedding ring has more gold than the Bank of Canada. So what was I going on about? Yes, the fact that we need to, physical is the Achilles heel, not only silver, but gold of the central banks and the bullion banks and Wall Street. That's why I've had this mug I designed over 2 years ago, and it says only physical gold and silver will slay the bullion banks. So they're David and Goliath. So I've always maintained that's what you need to do. Just a bit of water. Clactor says, what, 300 ounces a month? Well, some people can afford that. I'm saying, there are people there who have out there who have a lot of money and they can afford that. But some people can't. Some people can only buy maybe an ounce a month. But yes, just buy as much as you can, I would say. So I'm going to play here. So I just wanted to first show you guys the Perth Mint website, just to show you that they are owned. So here it is, the Perth Mint, right? If you go down to the bottom here, it says Perth Mint operated by Gold Corporation, which I guess is a private company, but it's wholly owned by the government of Western Australia. So there you go. So I wanted to show you that. I also, Chris Conman, thank you for your super chat. Hi, Mario. When the 10-year Treasury yield gets to 3, 4, or 5 or more, won't it kill the rally in gold? Thanks. Yeah, a lot of people talk about that higher bond yields will drive the gold price down. But in the 70s, well, 60s and 70s and early 80s, we had a bear market in bonds, which meant that yields went from around 5-6% to 16%, and gold went from 35 to almost $900. Um, it's all about the real yield. So let's say, for example, that we do go to 4%, but inflation, even the fake inflation that they call CPI, or the CPI, is at 6%. So you have a yield of 4%, and inflation or CPI running at 6, and we know it's going to run hot because the Fed has said that they don't want to raise the short-term rates up until 2024. So the real rate there will be -2. Right now, I think it's under 1, even though the 10-year yield is below 2%. So yeah, and I think if we get to 4%, though, the whole financial system, the stock market, bond market, everything, with all the derivatives we have, everything is going to collapse. And when everything collapses, you get a lot of bankruptcies and failures. So the best thing to do is gonna be to have physical gold and silver outside the system. So I think this is just a lot of scaremongering. And yes, I think they're going to be able to keep yields low. Yes, they're going to make. I know they didn't extend the exemptions for SLR, but they've got other how can I say, ammunition. All the cash treasury the treasury cash that's coming into the market, the 1.1 trillion, that's going to drive negative short-term rates, short-term rates negative, and it's going to make speculators, banks, investment houses basically borrow for nothing in the short-term loan market, and they're going to be buying the 10-year and the 30-year. So you could actually have massive inflation or even hyperinflation with the dollar going down versus gold and silver, for example, and other commodities, and they could still keep the 10-year yield at 1% or even less. It would be a complete joke, but everything is a complete joke. So I'm not concerned about that, the fact that the 10-year yield could rise. All you need to know is that they're going to do everything, and everything for central bankers and politicians is always stimulus, be it fiscal on the political side or monetary in the central bank side. And for those of us, and many of you have also studied history and the Austrian school, we know that once you get into this inflationary route, that really, I would say it started after the dot-com bubble, with the helicopter speech by Bernanke, with Greenspan taking rates to 1%, and then in '08 as well. Once you go down that road, there's only two things that can happen. You get a crack up boom or hyperinflation, or you get a collapse. But we're too far down the inflation. And by inflation, I mean the increase in the money supply and credit, because a lot of people get inflation wrong. Prices are the consequence of inflation, and CPI is a measure of prices. And unfortunately, even the experts in the markets and in the economy, in the central banks, they do that on purpose, just to make sure they can keep inflating. They equate CPI with inflation, even though it's the consequence. So with that, I wanted to play here some interesting clips. The first one is from in the interest of the people, that's John Adams and Martin North's YouTube channel. So I'm going to play here. John Adams did an interview with Dunnigan Kaiser from Liberty and Finance, and they're talking about synthetic silver. So I'm going to share this with you. 1 second. Let's bring this up. Share screen. So here we go. So
to bar it for you so that you actually have the physical. And I can tell you there is a very big scandal / problem in the Australian market. The Perth Mint has run dry of silver. So I was hearing direct reports from eyewitnesses in late February, people walking into the Perth Mint in Perth in Western Australia, and they were being told no silver for sale to the general public. Now, what I can...
I'm Greg Morgan. Learned Trades Global.
Sorry, we got an advert. Let's skip it. 1 second.
Tell is that starting at the beginning of March to accredited, approved distributors for the Perth Mint, they cannot place an order on the Perth Mint for silver. So when I was told this by people in the industry, I said, well, for example, does the size of the order matter? So if you're a $10 million client versus a $1,000 client, if you have a big order, will that size of order give you priority in the queue? And I've been told it doesn't matter what size order you come up with since the beginning of March, Perth Mint cannot deliver. Now, they have some supply chain problems. I was given some insight into what they are. I can't go into more detail, but they are struggling to source enough silver to meet up with demand. But the big danger is if you have unallocated at the Perth Mint and you wanted to convert to physical today, you can't do it. And that's the real counterparty risk.
So there you go. I'm going to play another one here. This is David Morgan. He's talking to As Good As Gold Australia. They're a big bullion dealer in Australia. I'm just going to play a clip, part of what Morgan was saying here. 1 second. Let me share the screen. So here we go.
And what's really interesting, David, is that this comes direct from the Perth Mint product information statement. And they say, when the environment becomes uncertain and risky, convert to allocated. Right, so they take us through a series of processes, but I want to repeat that. When the environment becomes uncertain and risky, convert to allocated, which is what a lot of people are trying to do at the moment, unsuccessfully. Now, I guess the question I would have here is, and it seems quite an obvious answer, but I'd like your response on it. It would seem now more than ever is the time to do what the Perth Mint said, purchase allocated metal. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yes. I mean, I've always taught that first I'm free market. So if you want to do the SLV or the PSV, any ETF, and it suits you, that's fine.
So I'm going to stop here. So there you go. I'm not making this up. I know I used the tweets there earlier from talking about the Mint, Perth Mint. So there is a problem in the Perth Mint. So with that, I wanted to show some of the viewers. Before I go further, actually, I wanted to say something for my UK viewers who are interested in silver. And I don't push, let's say, gold investments that much, but I do have a promo code with them, Monaco64. You can get 0.5% discounts when you buy gold and silver from them. And the reason why I have a promo code is because a few years ago, people wanted to buy gold and silver, and they said, where can I do it? And I always advise people to do their homework, try to get the best deal. But I talked to Simon Temple and Oliver Temple the last few days. And Oliver actually told me that they've actually received 5,000 silver Britannias, 1 ounce Britannias. And that delivery is next day, unless the post screws it up and you get it the 2 days after. So yes, the premiums are still high though, not just for silver, but also for gold. Of course, gold, the premiums aren't as high. So yes, for my UK viewers who are interested, because I see other bullion dealers, you look at their website here in the UK, and it says out of stock for a lot of the silver coins. So he's got the Britannia's 5,000 is quite a bit, but I think it could run out very quickly because there's a lot of demand for it. And yeah, make sure you use my promo code Monaco64 to get a slightly better deal. Oliver also told me that he will, if you call him and say, you know, I could get a better price than you can give me somewhere else, he'll match that price. And more importantly, he'll deliver it to you through the post the next day. So the details for gold investments are below in the description of all my videos. They will be below in the description of this live stream as well in the description section. Siddharth Sri Kamal, would you invest in self-storage units in the US? Not me personally. I want to try to keep my gold and silver as close to me as possible. So I would. Gold investments, they do storage as well, and they actually don't do allocated. They actually store your own stuff. So because if you buy an allocated bar like that, they could give you another bar, but actually you go to gold investments, you say, I want to buy this bar, and then you tell Oliver or Simon, can you please put it in the vault for me? They'll put it in the vault for you, and you can go there almost any day that they're there, and they'll take you to the vault and you can take it out. So that's how it works. Graham Hobbs says, I always understood that the Perth closed its complete production to cover comex. Yeah, I've been hearing that as well, that the Perth Mint is actually helping comex, because comex is getting a lot of how can I say, because the month of April, the April future, which I think the first notice date is towards the end of March. That's not the main, it's not a main futures contract. It's not like a futures contract that has a lot of activity. But in the last year, the contracts like the April contract and other months that are not that busy are getting a lot of delivery. There's an interesting article from Peter Schiff about that. And I think they're having trouble source the silver comex. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Perth Mint is holding back, because they're trying to basically save comex, help comex save face, right? Yeah, Billy let me use this. It is Billy's bar. That's right. The 50-ounce bar. He charged me a fee for it. Can you believe it? Billy. I also wanted to for the viewers that haven't bought gold or silver, or particularly we just focus on silver today. There is a test, for example, but I would say if you buy it from a reputable dealer, I don't think you have a problem. You know, you're going to buy real silver and gold, I would say. For example, Gold Investments and others have been in business for a long time. Gold Investments, they've been around since 1981. So if they sold fake gold or silver, they wouldn't have been in business for so long. So, but there is one test. The best test is a magnet. So gold and silver are not magnetic. So that's the first thing. So this is a bullion bar, 50-ounce bullion bar, right? And then you got the bullion coins. So bullion coins are coins that are usually 999. They're kind of pure. They don't have a face. Well, they have a face value, but it doesn't really make any sense. They're not circulating coins. They're usually been minted since the 1980s, since gold and silver haven't been used as money. So that's a maple leaf there. That's a 1 ounce maple leaf. It does have the queen's head on the obverse on the front of the coin. Some people don't like that, but I don't really care as long as it's silver. I'm not a fan of the royal family, but you know, if you can get the silver, there you go. So that's a 1 ounce maple leaf. I have quite a few. Being in the UK, I've got quite a few of these Britannias. So that's also a bullion coin, 1 ounce. And the reason why I favor the Britannias is because they are coins of the realm. And if silver were to go up multiples and multiples, and I were to like convert some of it back into fiat, I'd be liable. I won't be liable for capital gains tax because it's coin of the realm. So, and then, for example, in Australia, you've got the kangaroo, 1 ounce kangaroo coins. So those are, you know, 1 ounce coins. That's a 50 ounce bar. There, I do have some other 1 ounce or 5 ounce bars. And then you have what people call junk silver. They're usually in the US, they're pre-1965 coins and coins that used to circulate. So 1964 and before, for example, the quarter was 90% silver. So that's a 64 quarter. The dime as well. I've got a dime here. You can get these too, you know, on eBay or coin dealers. And then you've got the $1 coin. That's not an ounce. I think it's about 0.74 of an ounce, the $1. And then you have the $50, one of my favorite coins, the Kennedy $50. So these are constitutional silver, I guess, or junk silver. And also in the UK, for example, if you wanted to avoid VAT, there are a lot of coin dealers, if you can find them. They're not very, you know, they're rarer here in the UK than in the US. But I have recommended Peter Morris and Bromley to my viewers, and I talked to. He actually called me yesterday, and he said, "Oh, I got a lot of calls from your viewers." He said, "Thank you." So he'll sell things like pre-1920. So before 1920, the circulating coins in the UK were 925 or sterling silver. So here we've got a half crown. Here we've got a florin, which is 2 shillings. And here we've got a shilling, 925 silver, a sixpence, which is half of a shilling. So 6 pence, 12 a shilling, which is 12 pence. And then a threepenny bit, or 3 pence, threepence. So if you can find these, there won't be any VAT on them. And why? Well, because they're like old legal tender. You do pay VAT on the bullion coins in the UK, though. And just for, because I've got a lot of viewers from Canada. I've got a Canadian dollar from 1967. So that used to be circulating. That's not a bullion coin. I've got a quarter as well. This one from 1964. So there you go. The year I was born. And I've got a 25 cents from 1920. So yeah, you can find, it's not just bullion coins. Some of those junk, so to speak, coins, they might be, some of them might be collectors. They might cost a little more. But, oh yeah, 0.7734. That's right. That's the Morgan dollar, or the silver dollar is 0.7734. You're right, Morocco Mo. I made a mistake there. So I've got some Australian old circulating coins as well. I've got a 1936 florin. or 2 shillings, Australia. So I would do that as well. Do your homework on Google. You can find a lot of stuff, not just bullion silver, but if you're into history, and yes, search for silver coins, historic silver coins, and you'll find. What I'm going to do is I have a really good website, and it has all the different like circulating silver coins of the world, all these different countries, and I'm going to put a link to it below in the description. I think the countries that had silver coins circulating for the longest, they were Austria and Germany. I think they, up until 1974, they had silver coins. This is an Austrian coin here. Let's have a look. 10 shillings, 1972. So you see that's silver, 1972 from Austria. I don't happen to have a German one though. Just take a Victorian crowns. I have Victoria half crowns. Let's have a look here. Yeah, this is a half crown. This is what George V half crown. This is from let's have a look. 1914, just as the war kicked off. This is a Victoria shilling, actually 1900. So there you go, Victoria. And I've got 1 Swiss franc, 1952, and the 1 franc nowadays is the same coin, but is copper nickel. But as you can see, the Swiss franc was also silver. So let's go to the questions now. Try to answer some more of your questions. Hi, Mario. 66 degrees in Sacramento. Well, nice weather, California, isn't it? I mean, Sacramento, California. That's good. The weather here was pretty good today. I got up a little later today, Sunday, but I went to, well, actually, I set up the live stream this morning for tonight. I actually had a chat with John Adams, and then I did some work in the garden. I had to cut the grass. We're gonna have to treat the grass. My wife is a keen gardener. I do all the cutting for her, and we're gonna have to holotine or aerate the lawn because of the winter, and then we're gonna do spring, get rid of the weeds and feed and put some more Canada grass seeds, Canada green, I think it's called. So my wife likes to have the garden looking nice. She considers it like just another room in the house. So there you go. And then I went for my walk in the park, an hour and 20 minutes. So there you go. So that's been my day. Collect tourists. Yeah, he says all my silver from eBay. Yeah, eBay is a good place to buy silver. You just have to find sellers that have a track record. Yeah, I buy some silver coins from eBay. I bought some old Brazilian 19th century Brazilian silver coins from an eBay seller from the Czech Republic. And I think it's a lady, and she's really reliable. These coins are more numismatic, but I like them. They're historic, and I think if the price, I think with what silver will do, in my opinion, even the numismatic coins are going to have even more value. So there you go. Erasmus Otieno, thank you for your super chat. Can Billy give a tutorial on how to play the gold and silver ratio sometime in the future? Well, Billy Billy doesn't think it's a great idea because you always lose out, on the gold and silver ratio. Unless you're a trader, I think you should stick to just buying gold and silver. If you think, for example, that silver is going to outperform, you just buy a little more silver, then you buy gold, and vice versa, I would say. And trading. Yeah, trading it, I guess you could do it through the ETFs, but is that really, if you're a trader, but if you're a stacker, I think, yes, maybe you could. I've been thinking maybe of exchanging some of my gold for silver, but I'm not too sure I'm going to do that. I'm just going to try to stack more silver. But I have made a lot of videos about the technical picture for the gold silver ratio, though, and I will continue to do that. Yes, Paul Veens, it is grass seed, Canada green. Let me see. Canada. There you go. Yeah, that's the one. I'll show it to you guys. We're going to go into gardening now in my channel. But there you go. That's the one. Canada green grass seed. There you go. Super Seamstress Sewing Show. Thank you for your super chat. Do you have Silver Shield? Let's see. Silver Shield. No, I don't think I have that coin. Is that from what's his name? I forgot now. The Truth Never Told guy, isn't it? I've never bought a silver from him because he's in the States. It's harder for me. I have to pay. I have to pay customs. It takes longer, and I think Silver Shield. You can't just go in the shop and buy things. You have to register, and I never got around to it. He's got some nice coins, though. No says my local coin shop is all out of bullion silver except for key dates on Silver Eagles at nosebleed prices. So I bought gold, a gold kangaroo and a gold maple leaf. He has plenty of gold. Yeah, I think here in the UK, the premiums for the 1 ounce gold coins are probably about 2%, maybe a little more. But for sovereigns, which are popular coin, gold sovereigns, they're about 5-6%, which is quite high still. Greeter Dog, what do you think about miners like First Majestic? What are your thoughts how they might fare in the future? I have First Majestic, and I'm not advising people to buy silver miners. And I'm trying to focus actually on the silver miners because, as I've said, I do have physical silver, but I have plenty of, I want to be more exposed to silver. So I've done it through the silver miners, and I think they will do very well. And I think First Majestic, yes, it's a good firm. I've listened to Keith Neumeyer. He seems to be a really good guy. And I have Hecla Mining. What else have I got? I forgot now. Hecla Mining, First Majestic, and Pan American, I think. Is it Pan American Silver? Yeah. So, yeah. One thing I tell people about not only silver miners and gold miners is to look into prospectus of big funds like the Sprott Fund and others. And they give you their holdings. So, and then you look at the different companies. And what I've tried to do in the past is like, I'll pick a company that has a high market cap, one that has a medium market cap and a small, and you try to mix it up like that. That's what I do. Do your research. Bugsy2379, thank you. Did you ever do a Wall Street Silver interview? Yeah. So on Friday, was it Friday? Yeah, Friday. We were doing the interview. I think it was with Kenzie. She does the Wall Street Silver interviews for the YouTube channel, and then her internet connection was really bad, and it kept buffering. So um, we said, why don't we try to do it tomorrow, which was yesterday. And I was busy yesterday, so I said to her, can we do it next week sometime? So she's going to get a hold of me tomorrow or later in the week, and we're going to do that. It's not going to be a live interview. It's going to be recorded, and then she's going to publish it on YouTube. So it should be out this week, I would say, this coming week. Bob Hunter, this is for backwardation, Mario. I married a lady in the future, and I hope she pays me back in the past. Thank you. Thank you, Bob Hunter, for all your backwardation money. Super chat, that is. Thomas Tubes. Yeah, sovereigns are they're 0.2354 of an ounce. So yeah, almost a quarter of an ounce of gold. They're just I think it's 7.99 grams, and they're 22 carat. 7.99 grams is the weight of the coin. Then you have to do the times 0.9167 to find the true gold weight. Yeah, the greatest truth never told, Silver Shield. That's right. I've listened to that guy for years, and no, he's right about what he says. He just seems to be only pro silver though, and I don't think I personally like both silver and gold. But yeah, like David Morgan said in his interview there with As Good as Gold Australia, you know, um, as a silver bug or sound money proponent, free market proponents, it doesn't matter. People do whatever they want, and he just like silver. That's his business. I like both. Pat PDS. Yeah, I was born in 1964, which is weird because that was the last year in the U.S. that they had 90% silver, right? I mean, the mid 60s to the late 60s, early 70s was a huge, yeah, the monetary system really changed. Bretton Woods basically collapsed in 68 when the gold price went two-tier. Basically, there was a price between the central banks, and there was a free market price traded in international markets. Of course, Bretton Woods really, the final nail in the coffin was in August 15th, 1971, when Nixon closed the gold window temporarily. And then actually 1973 was important as well, because that was the last year they were able to keep foreign exchange rates pegged. Currencies used to have fixed amounts, so there wasn't, the foreign exchange market now is such a huge casino. They trade over $1 trillion of foreign exchange a day. And under a sound money system where you peg national currencies to a weight of gold or silver, there's the only foreign exchange there is to settle trade and real things. But under a fiat currency system, it's become a casino. The FX market, people get leveraged 200 to 1. That's the other market I think will be really annihilated, the FX market, once the dollar goes and things change monetarily, and that would be for the best. DMC says, I have used your promo code with Gold Investments recently. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. I also have, as I said, some people have different desires or wants, preferences. Some people, some people can have, they have a lot of physical gold and silver, and they want to maybe, I know someone who wants to, who's based in the US, and they want to have some of their, gold and silver outside the US. So there are other, ways to own gold and silver. And I have a promo code or referral code with Glint as well. And what is Glint? Well, Glint, they store, you open an account with them. It's called the GlintPay App. And basically what they do is they, you open the account with them, and then you send them the fiat currency, and then you can buy gold with them, and they keep that gold allocated. So it's allocated gold. It's not with a mint. It's with a private, how can I say, storage company in Switzerland. And they also give you a debit card, a prepaid debit card, and you can actually spend that gold. So I personally prefer physical gold and silver. I do have a Glint card, and I have some gold in there, but it all depends. Some people are more not as flexible, and I can understand because you saw that the Perth Mint now is making it really hard for people to even take out their allocated gold and silver, but I would say Glint is a private company, and they store it with a private company in Switzerland, and it's allocated. And you can also ask for delivery of the gold with Glint. It's convenient, but it's not a place personally that I would put all my gold into. I'd have some. Yeah, someone mentioned kinesis. I've never really tried kinesis, so I can't make I heard that they give you. Tricky Dicky says Glint is a scam, and then he deleted it. You know, I don't think it's a scam. They had a problem. Maybe when was it? 18 months ago, they had a hostile takeover bid from a company in Singapore, and this company put them into administration. They were into administration for a few months, so you couldn't take your money out of Glint. But then they came out of administration. All the money and all the gold was there. It's not a scam. I've had the CEO of Glint on the channel several times. They approached me back in, I think it was 2018 or 20, yeah. They were the ones who approached me. I met them, and I think Jason Cousins has the right idea. He believes in sound money and gold. So, but again, there is a counterparty risk there. I'm not denying that. It's not like holding your gold in your hand, but it does give you some convenience. I could see in the future, if there being a lot of competitors to Glint. Gold money is similar, and people using, and even for silver, hopefully, and actually people spending that money. If we have a hyperinflation, which I think is highly likely, and people need to pay for things. But I also think physical silver will be very good in a hyperinflation. People say, oh, you'll be able to barter with silver, but it's not really barter because silver and gold are the original money. So you actually be able to pay for things with silver. Bob Hunter, Kill Gates, murders 50% of the population. How much will an ounce of love cost? I have a T-shirt that says arrest Fauci and Gates, mask-free zone. I wore that today, but it wasn't warm enough. I had another a top over it when I went for my walk. Lord Humongous says oil companies with gas stations will always be in demand no matter what happens in the Middle East. Morocco Mo says plenty of CIA people in Alaska. I think the CIA people are everywhere, not just in Alaska. Kevin Shepard says he likes GlintPay. Neil Moy, what's the next sign where silver comes into shortage? It all reminds me of the film The Big Short. The market went against him at the beginning. Yeah, it's not just silver. I've made that analogy as well about The Big Short. I've been making it for the last 6 weeks. And I think that's what's happening. The big boys, the bullion banks, the central banks, because the central banks also, they lease out this silver and gold, or the gold especially. They lease out the gold to the Perth Mints of the world, and they know where gold and silver are going. So they're trying to discourage people from buying gold and silver. They keep scaring them with the talk about, 10-year yield and stuff. But you can bet that they're cutting their short positions, their paper positions, and they're going to start buying. Anytime the bullion bank's futures position goes to kind of neutral and even positive, sometimes long gold, that's when gold starts really racing ahead. Super Seamster, is it worth it if you only have 120 pounds to store? 120 pounds of what? Is that silver? DMC asking about genocide and deflationary for gold and silver. I think the inflation has been created already. So look at what happened to Germany after World War II. It was completely destroyed. There wasn't much economic activity. A lot of Germans died, and the Reichsmark or the mark collapsed. Germany didn't only have hyperinflation in 1923; they also had it in 1945. Germans were using cigarettes as currency back in the immediate post-World War II period. So I don't think it really matters. That's, I think, when you will want more gold and silver, if that happens, what you just said there. So I'll take a few more questions. We're been on for over an hour now. Super Seamster, what about 8-to-1 silver to gold? Yeah, I heard, I think it was Keith Neumeyer saying that that's pretty much, I think, when you mine silver and gold, right now there's 8 times as much silver that can be mined for, for every ounce of gold that is mined, there's 8 ounces of silver mined. So yeah, that's the, and historically though, the gold silver ratio was thought to be 16, and that's where it was fixed at. But he thinks that was wrong, because that was hundreds of years ago that they came up with that ratio. So he could be right that it could be more like 8-to-1. And I think there's a lot, the supply of overground, supply of gold is much bigger than silver. So yes, silver could really outperform gold, and I think it will in going forward. Doesn't mean to say it will be next week or next month. It's gonna through the years, I think. Keller Robert 80, does your Glint account appreciate if the price of gold goes up? Well, the Glint app gives you the option to keep, I think in the States it's just US dollar and gold. So if you have $1,000 in there that you put in when you open the account and then you convert it to gold, if the price of gold goes up, yes, the value of your gold will go up and vice versa. All right. Yeah. Mr. B says, hit the like, subscribe, and follow and share far and wide. Yeah. So with that, I'm going to thank all of you who have participated in the live stream for being here. And yes, I'll be talking to you tomorrow. And let's keep an eye on things. Take care, everyone. And I wish you all a great rest of the weekend. Or if you are in Australia or in the Far East, a good start to your week, a good start to your Monday.